Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is MrYorkiesWorld, and we are with Ryanair today. We're actually going to be flying from Edinburgh, where we are right now, all the way to Copenhagen, some brand new scenery that I've got. I have absolutely no idea what's going on with the wing there between two Ryanair aircraft. We're in the 737-800, and as you can see, we're quite fogged in at Edinburgh today. And as we jump into the cockpit, we can go ahead and set up our fuel. So, FS actions and fuel. Today we're going to be taking 15,373 pounds of fuel. Fuel pumps can come on. Really excited, guys, because the 787 has been released, and by the way, yes, I am going to feature that on the channel. I've already done a few test flights, but they've not really turned out too good. I'm still getting used to the aircraft, so just bear with me until everything's sorted and it's completely bug-free, because I've heard about some bugs as well. Until that's all sorted, I'm going to try and sort of just get some other flights done in the meantime, but that aircraft is definitely coming to the channel very, very soon. So as you can see, I've already switched on the hydraulics and everything early. We usually wouldn't do this, but I have done. It's 370 today for the flight altitude, or the cruise altitude. We're going to open the doors for good old GSX. We can set the engine page and the RTO with the auto brake. And we can request clearance from ATC in a second. We are going to be using... it doesn't seem to have given us a runway yet, but we're going to request clearance anyway. And that should give us the runway.
Ryanair 2674 with the 80s for request clearance.
Ryanair 2674. Expect clearance within 2 minutes.
063. I'm using that because 06 is the current runway that's in use. So if that's what they give us, then that's what we're going to use. So VOR's data and traffic on both sides. We can clean up the warning there. And we might as well set the transponder to, well, transponder or XPDR. Everything else is set up. Here we go.
Clearance.
We are ready. Go ahead.
Ryanair 2674. Departing runway 06.
Yep, 06 we were fine. We were right. 5,000 feet on the initial altitude.
Within 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is 131 decimal 8. Squawk 7433 QNH 1022.
Right, okay, so the initial altitude is 5,000 feet.
10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 131.8. Squawk 7433 QNH 1022. Ryanair 2674.
Right, so we can go ahead and configure the FMC now. So we are at EGPH today, gate 107, as you can see. Hopefully that will go into the FMC. Which it has, it's actually worked this time. So GPSL, that should bring everything to life. The QNH is 3018. So EGPH, we've got a company route set up to EKCH, and it's actually worked as well. So 06 is the departing runway, and the flight number is RYR2674 for today. Stick that in there. Close the doors for GSX, and of course we can close the main entry, because for some reason GSX still has an issue boarding passengers if the door is left open, so I don't know why that is. 121.8 is the zero fuel weight. Our reserves today are 2.9, and we're going to use a cost index of 6. Transition altitude's fine. 370 is going to be the cruise altitude. We can execute that. N1 limit, 24k D rate with flaps 5. Centre of gravity 24%. And I'm just looking at EFB to get some wins. We are dealing with 073 at 8 knots today. So V2 is 144. Stick that in there. I can tell you one thing from the test flights that I have done in the 787. It's an absolutely beautiful aircraft. It really is. I'm so happy that I bought it. You can see we're going to be using runway 06 there. It's actually come up finally on Pro ATCX. We can arm LNAV and VNAV. But yeah, so the aircraft is so easy to fly, and that's not why, you know, I'm delaying it on the channel. I'm delaying it on the channel purely and simply. There's a few things that are a little bit different, and I just need to get a feel for the aircraft before we bring it to the channel. Hopefully the next video that we do will indeed be the 787. So we should be able to look forward to that, and that'll be in the next few days. I have been incredibly busy again with the good old UK and Ireland tour, which I've been having to make videos for as well, so do bear with me. We're going to do our usual radius rings of 50, 100 and 150 miles. Just around Copenhagen. Again, this is some brand new, or brand new to the channel at least, payware scenery for Copenhagen, so it should be pretty epic. Really cannot wait to get over there and see what it looks like. Hopefully the weather's going to be okay as well. I don't think it is actually, I think we might have some quite bad weather, but nevertheless, we'll catch up with you guys once the passengers are boarded.
It's complete and the aircraft is clear, sir.
Okay, so as you just heard there, the boarding has been complete basically, so we can begin our next checklist, which is going to be the before start checklist. We can close all the doors, and while they're closing, we might as well go ahead and arm the auto throttle. We can of course ignore the hydraulics because they've already been set up. Did that nice and early. We can go to FS actions and remove the ground connections because we don't need those anymore. That is basically the route. There's not much to it. There's about 3 pages and that's it. Should take us about an hour and a half or an hour and 32 minutes to get there. So we've been approved for pushback and start, or push and start, or start and push, or whatever you want to call it. We've requested the same from good old GSX. Can't believe how foggy it is outside today. Some weird effects happening on the screen. I've no idea why that is. But nevertheless, we should be alright. Some Ryanair aircraft to our right, and for some reason they appear to have interlocked our wings together, which is rather unusual. The GSX doesn't appear to want to work, so it looks like we're going to have to just reset that. So we're going tail left. Now the tow truck's in motion. That's fantastic. I love the jet lorries and stuff for the fuel. It's pretty nice. We can just set the V1 speed or V2 speed in the memory device. No particular reason because we've already got it in the speed hole selector, but there we go. I just like being able to use it. It's just like a nice little feature of the PMDG aircraft. Hopefully as well, what we're going to be able to do when we land, we're going to be able to have a look at some replays of the landing to see how good we actually did, which should be pretty interesting as well. Usually we sort of, I either forget to do them, or for some reason they don't work or something, but hopefully we'll get that chance.
Tuck is in position, bypass pin is inserted. Apron's now clear, ready to push. Release parking brakes, please.
Brakes released.
Commencing push.
And we can, of course, if I can find them, because I'm looking... There we are. Couldn't find them for a moment. Been used to flying different aircraft lately, so sort of throws you off guard a little bit. So 25% N2, and we'll release some fuel. About there'll do. Engine number 2 starting up. I really hope I don't get judged the first time I fly the 787. It's a very, very similar but also very different aircraft. Remember, we're not dealing with PMDG here. It's obviously Qualitywings. So, so far I've recognised just a few things that are different and that I need to get used to. In particular, the handling and stuff like speed brakes, you know, trim, stuff like that. It's a little bit different. I need to map some keys because for some reason the mapped ones I already have don't work in the 787. I don't know whether that's a bug or whether it's something else, but we'll get round to it. I'm sure I'll find a way. So we're going to release some fuel into the first engine now. A little bit early, but nevertheless.
Push now complete.
Push is complete. We can, of course, set the parking brake as engine number 1 spools up. Those of you who want to see the UK and Ireland tour, remember it kicks off on June the 1st, and for all the patrons who are, well, Patreons over at Patreon, you'll be able to see it immediately as soon as it comes out. So if you haven't joined yet, that is the reason to join. You can do it from as little as $1 a month. So it's the first tour I'm doing. It's pretty epic. Nice little milestone for the channel. Full left, full right on the controls. And of course we've already done sort of left and right on the rudder, forward and backwards on the yoke and stuff like that. So flaps can be set to 5 now. And we can set the trim. Again, the trim on the 787 is similar to the 777. But for some reason, setting it is another story when it comes to me. I don't know whether I'm doing it wrong or something else. But I'm sure we'll find out when I do the first flight with the 787 on the channel. For now, I've just been doing sort of test flights with it. So probe heat's on. We can, of course, transfer the APU power, switch the engines to continuous. Packs can come on, APU bleed, and the APU can come off. We might as well go ahead and switch on the lights as well. You'll notice that I've also switched on the logo and the wing lights. That's because of the visibility.
Request taxi.
Ryanair 2674, taxi via Alpha to runway 06.
Via
Alpha to runway 06. It's not too far away, it's only a matter of seconds. However, this will give me the opportunity to give you guys a little bit of information about this flight. So again, today's flight is Edinburgh, or EGPH, to Copenhagen, EKCH, with Ryanair 2647, or 74, sorry. I just got a little bit distracted by that Dash 8 that's landing. It's about 644 nautical miles, and it will take about an hour and 32 minutes, according to Flight Radar 24, so, or FlightAware, should I say. So, that's all I've got, basically. Our cruising altitude is 370. And apart from that, that's all I have to say on the matter. That is a Flybe Dash 8, if I'm correct. We really have got some bad visibility. I'm assuming that once we get to like 10,000 feet or above the clouds at least, it'll be okay. But look at that. How gorgeous is Edinburgh scenery? It's UK 2000, it's fantastic. So much detail put into it. I've purchased quite a few UK 2000 airports, to be honest. As of late, I've made sort of like a... I'll be doing like a spending spree over at UK 2000 scenery. Mainly because of the tour. If it wasn't for the tour, I probably wouldn't do it. But apart from that, the next upgrade, people, that's going to be happening on the channel is either going to be a yoke and some throttles. I'm assuming I'll also have to get rudder pedals unless I use auto rudder. And I'm hopefully first going to be upgrading my graphics card, because I've got the GTX 980, but I really want the 1080, just to add a little bit more power to the system, especially when we've got like high rates of scenery and high amounts of scenery and stuff. The CPU can wait. I'll probably upgrade that at some point in the future. It's a 4790K, so it's not as if it's old-fashioned. You know, it's an i7 processor. So we'll have to see where that goes, but nevertheless, really looking forward to it. Again, this is not one of the tour flights, but maybe I'll add it to like a European tour. I might do a European tour in the future. That'd be quite good. So we're all configured for takeoff. We've got LNAV and VNAV armed. We've got the auto throttle set. Obviously, the auto brake is set to RTO. TA and RA with a quick test with the transponder. As you can see, we have got an aircraft coming into land at runway 06, just up there. TCAS has passed, that's all good. We've also got our V2 speed set as well, so that's all set up. Now this is not a Dash 8, this appears to be either an Airbus or a Boeing. Looks like an Airbus, it probably is, it's an EasyJet Airbus. See if we can catch him landing. I bet this is going to be a pretty hard landing, because UTL tends to do that. It was alright. I think I've done harder landings than that before, so I'll take that. Right, so, again, that weird line that's happening as a result of the fog, I don't know what's causing that, that's a bit weird.
2674, holding short at runway 06, ready for departure. Ryanair 2674, hold your position.
So we're going to hold our position. I'm still going to turn off the taxi lights and switch on the strobe lights and everything. Just to get ready. The wheel well light can come off, because obviously the walk around would have finished by now. But let's just take a look. So, I can't see anybody up there. There may still be an aircraft on the runway. I'm looking at EFB and it looks like there is. I think it's that EasyJet that's just landed. This is why I use Ultimate Traffic Live along with Pro ATCX, because if you only use one of them, it doesn't really work out. You can see the strobe lights over there of the 737 in the background. Or the Airbus, sorry. I am mixing my words up so much today. It looks like he's just exiting the runway. And then we should be able to line up and get ourselves out of here. There's nobody else up there in the sky that I can see. Everything's set up on the upper overhead, or the overhead panel. And it's just a case of waiting. The thing I hate the most. Really don't like waiting. I'm not the most sort of impatient person in the world, but I am pretty impatient at times. He is definitely there. You can see him exiting the runway. Oh, here we go. There we go. We can line up. We've already set the lights on and everything. We don't need to mess about with those. Just a last check just to make sure Pro ATCX hasn't got it wrong. Wouldn't be the first time I've been told to line up and then an aircraft just come flying over my head. Right, so we might be able to do a rolling takeoff here. Well, oh, there we go. Start the clock. Clear for takeoff. Thrust to 40%. And toga. We are away. Airspeed's alive. $80 knots. V1 coming up.
V1. Rotate.
And rotate.
V2.
Nice gentle rotation. There we go. Absolutely gorgeous. Gear up, positive rate. Look at that. There's the EasyJet down there. Right, so let's try and get above these clouds and see if we can escape this bad weather.
Roger, Ryanair 2674, with you passing 800 for 5,000.
Ryanair 2674, climb to flight level 190.
190.
Ryanair 2674.
We can sort the cockpit out, just the auto brake to off, and of course we can lock the gear there. Still got manual control at the moment, just trying to fight the sort of weather a little bit and sort of get the nose down and follow the flight director. However, there's nothing better than the good old autopilot. Right, so now the controls have been taken off us, we can sort of relieve ourselves of that duty and set everything else. Nice wing view. You can see there is some blue sky. But we just need to get above it, above these clouds. Now don't worry about that, because we are indeed going to be following that track anyway. We're going to be turning right, heading 125. It's just that ATC wanted us to do it a little bit sooner. Flaps are on the way in. Absolutely terrible clouds, but I mean look at that. You can see the blue sky ahead of us, or above us should I say. Might as well switch our heading just to match the heading that we're actually going to be going. I think once we get out of here, we'll be alright. It's just a case of waiting. Look at that. Nice blue sky. Don't know what the hell that was. Weird effect. There we go. We're coming out of it. Slowly but surely, we are above the clouds now. Standard pressurization. Absolutely gorgeous. Rex Skyforce. You cannot go wrong. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Right. So, with that, there's not much else we can do, to be honest. Coming up on 8,000 feet. We can switch off the wing and the logo lights, because we don't need those. Now that we're above the clouds. Look at the amazing view that you can get. All that bad weather beneath, but then there's just absolutely amazing graphics above. Love it. Absolutely love it. Coming up fast on 10,000 feet. And there's 10,000. And that's it, we're away. Nothing else we need to configure right now. And with that, I will catch up with you guys a little bit later on in the flight. We are going to jump in some lovely cinematics on the way to Copenhagen. See you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so as you can see we are approaching the 150 mile radius ring. We've already begun our descent, and of course we need to go down into the FMC to sort a few things out. So, if we go over here we can see that we are using the Tuddlem, or Tuddle 1 or something like that, arrival with the ILS 04 left as being our landing runway. 037 on the course. We've got 110.50 set in the standby nav radios, ready to capture the ILS. This is the approach, if it works. There we go. So 110.5, 039, and the decision altitude is 116. It's a Cat 2 ILS runway 04 left landing. So so here we go with the Barrow. So 116 there. A good thing about the 787 is it actually synchronises the barrows on both sides, so you don't have to do it on both sides. And obviously there'll be numerous other things that it does as well. But you saw the auto brake there set to number 2. We are of course going to be using a flaps 30 at 141 landing. I'll probably add a 5 knot difference onto that, just so that we can compensate for the wind. But apart from that, that is it. 5 knot increase in the speed. 141 is set there, but I'm going to actually set it to 146, just so that we've got that 5 knot difference in the speed. And that is essentially it. So we've basically got to wait. Look at that wing view. Absolutely gorgeous. We've basically got to wait now until we approach, or we get into that 150 mile radius. And then ATC will probably vector us down even further than 240. But you can see that we are definitely on track. It's 1850 at the moment. And 1821 is supposed to be when we land, but obviously that's not right, is it? We need to mess about with the clock a little bit, because for some reason it doesn't seem to show us the accurate time at the moment, which is a bit of a strange thing. But there we go. If we go on to... it says 1651. But that's still not quite right. So I'm assuming that I will have to mess about with that. But nevertheless, I will catch up with you guys once we are ready to begin the approach into Copenhagen. Alright guys, we are finally back, and we're dealing with some pretty bad weather. I mean, look at that view, that is lovely, but the weather that we're about to experience is not too good. We've got quite a bit of turbulence, and on the weather radar there you can see there's plenty of red around, so it's not going to be fun. But nevertheless, we'll manage. This has to be one of the first times that I've dealt with weather as sort of weird as this on the weather radar, but look at that. Frames are dipping down a little bit, and I think that's because of the mixture of the weather, because we've got some lightning going off, the clouds, and obviously everything else that's going on. It's sort of taking its toll on the system, so you'll have to bear with me with that. We are set up. I'm expecting some severe lag. Probably will end up with some severe lag, to be honest. But nevertheless, look at those frame rates. I've got the speed brake extended because we can't seem to slow down. And obviously we're approaching 10,000 feet very, very rapidly. I'm going to take flaps 1. I know that I'm going over speed. However, it's the only option I have at this minute in time. We need to get down, we need to reduce our altitude, but at the same time, we need to take control of that speed. So we're expecting ILS approach 04 left, we already knew that from earlier. The speed is coming down now. We can set the engines to continuous, set the lights on and everything. This is really difficult when we're shaking around like this. I'm not going to mess around with anything else just yet, but we'll put the seatbelts on. Frame rate is not very impressive at all at this minute in time, but nevertheless, look at that view. You see, I can handle it. I can handle it when the frame rates are not too good because of those visuals. Those visuals just do everything for me. You can see that the speed brake there was still extended, but we don't need that now, so I've just retracted it. Reducing the speed to 220 knots, because we are approaching a 50-mile radius ring. This is why I use the fixed rings. It makes it a hell of a lot easier to know exactly how long you have before you're going to have to start pulling back your speed. If I had something like PFPX and stuff like that, I probably would be better in terms of planning all that, because it tends to do all that for you. Whoa, we've got some rain. Let's put the wipers on. And I bet you the rain goes away. It looks like it's gone away now. Look at that lightning. That is an amazing... There we go, it's back again. So the weather's all over the place. We're not exactly sure what we're doing. But nevertheless, I think we'll switch these wipers off now. And I'll catch up with you guys a little bit later on when we are ready and on final for runway 04 left. Alright guys, so we are back. You can see that I have once again got the speed brake armed. Or out, should I say. Just reducing some speed. I'm going to set flaps 1. We are literally just at the flaps 1 speed, which is 250 knots. We're safe up to flaps 5 for 250 knots. But we're just going to extend flaps 1 for now. That's where we are. We're approaching the decel zone. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because we need to reduce our speed quite rapidly. Frames are a little bit better now. The view is absolutely gorgeous. And we need to set standard pressurization. There we go. 3021 by the looks of it. Everything's set up here. We've got the landing lights on, the runway turn-offs and everything. You can see the ILS feathers there on the EFIS are coming into view. Just coming out of 5,300 feet, or coming up on 5,300. VOR lock is armed. Speed down to 210 or thereabouts. We'll mess around with it a little bit. Speed brakes out again just to increase that rate of deceleration. And just coming out of 5,000 feet. Now we're going to set flaps 5. Again, we are safe all the way up until 250 knots with flaps 5, so we're alright. Here's tower. Or ATC, not tower just yet. 3,000 feet, and you can see that we do need to manually take control of the vertical speed just to make sure that we do get to the right altitude in time. We've got auto brakes 2 set. The gear is not down yet. We've just armed the speed brake. I'm going to go ahead and engage approach hold in a second. Look at that. Localizer's coming in. Lag spike, apologies. There we go. Approach hold is selected. Speed is coming back nicely. We are going to have a little bit of a crosswind, quite the crosswind to be exact. Oh my goodness. That is going to be a thumbnail. I don't care what I say or what I change my mind about, that is a thumbnail. I usually do say that I'm going to set a thumbnail and then I always end up changing my mind on something like that, but not this time. That is definitely our thumbnail for this video. Right. Okay, so 200 is the speed at the moment. 200 knots. We've just got to contact ATC anytime soon to let them know that we're on final. And once we're cleared, we'll be able to go ahead and drop the gear. Which shouldn't be too long. You can see that the glide slope's coming in. Sort of quite a way out at the moment. Look at that water.
RYR2674, cleared ILS approach, runway 04 left.
So that's cleared approach.
Runway 04 left, Ryanair 2674.
And of course we're going to have to contact Tower very shortly as well, just to let them know that we're on final.
74, descent to 3,000, cleared final approach. Tower at the marker. Frequency is 118.1.
Right, okay.
3000 cleared approach, tower at the marker.
So we've been cleared approach, Tower's at the marker, speed brake, auto brake, everything else is set. The course is set, along with the ILS. We can reduce the speed down now. Here we are, we're establishing on the glide slope.
Ryanair 2674 on final, runway 04 left.
Ryanair 2674, final approach speed.
Final approach speed, we already did that. One step ahead. So clear to land, we can go ahead and drop the gear now. What a lovely view, look at the water, the clouds, everything. Down comes the gear. That is it. We can sort some flaps out now. In fact, we might as well take it all the way down to flaps 30. We're under 175 knots, so that's fine. Look at that. Down come the flaps. Perfect on the glide slope and obviously on the localizer as well. However, as we do get down, you can see there the nose is pointing slightly to the right of where it needs to be pointing. That is because we've got a crosswind, and it's a 17 knot crosswind by the looks of it. So it's going to be a little bit challenging. I love the water. I can't remember what I've done to actually make that look like that, but it's pretty nice. So we've got a 17 knot crosswind. That's probably not really going to help when we're trying to drop our altitude down at the last minute. As long as we don't get wind shear, we should be alright. But we've got alerts set up for that, so if anything is dangerous, I'm pretty sure the autopilot will let us know, or at least the aircraft will let us know. But look at the scenery. Yeah, we are definitely at an angle on this approach. We can set the current heading, which is runway heading of 039.
Holding short, runway 04 right, ready for departure.
48, line up, runway 04 right.
So we've got somebody departing runway 04 right. Obviously we're landing on 04 left. If you look down in front of you, you can also see the waves on the shoreline. I just can't get over how beautiful this aircraft really is. And I know I always fly the 737-800, but it is one of the, if not the, most popularly used aircraft in the world. So that's my excuse. That, and I love it. I love all the 737s. 1,000 feet. That is it. I'm taking control. The aircraft is now mine. Apart from the auto throttle, obviously. Once I get that Cytec yoke and some rudder pedals and stuff, we'll be alright. But at the moment, I can't quite afford that. So we're having to deal with the good old joystick. Right. So here we go. I'm going to try to get ourselves on profile. We're having a little bit of trouble in terms of altitude. The wind's wanting us to keep high when we need to be low. Really having to bury the nose down now. Trying to fight it just to get back on track. We're also a little bit to the left, and that's because of the wind. This is not going to be very good, I can tell. We are going to be using the replay feature though. We're a bit all over the place. Continuing. I'm sure that was minimums. This is not looking good. Come on. Trying to keep it in the centre as much as I can. Floating it. And... oh, that was a bit heavy. That was a little bit heavy. I wasn't a fan of that, but nevertheless we're down. Reversers are green. Decel. 80 knots manual braking. I was not best pleased with that. That was okay, but it wasn't the best landing. And obviously that was because of the 17 knot or whatever it was crosswind. But we still managed. We still managed to keep the centre line once we were down. So that's all that matters. We'll see what that looked like on the replay in just a few minutes. Actually, I'll just pull up here and then we'll bring up the replay feature. Frames are alright as well, actually, at Copenhagen. I was expecting them to be a little bit off, but there we go. Right, so I'm going to sort of just stop anywhere about here. Just maybe a little bit further past this line. Like sort of here, it looks alright to me, sort of central. We'll just stop here. We're not in anybody's way or anything. Parking brake set. Right. What I think we'll do is just do a little bit of clean-up. So landing lights, taxi lights, engines, strobe lights, APU, start that because I always end up forgetting. Right. Okay, so nevertheless, welcome everybody to Copenhagen. We are back on the ground where we firmly belong, or firmly on the ground where we belong, whichever way you want to say that. That was a pretty epic landing. I'm quite impressed with the way that I managed to handle it, considering that everything was on a joystick as well. So it's not as if I was using rudder pedals or anything. But that was all right. I suppose I'm sort of happy with it. I don't know. Gate Foxtrot 1. Right, let me just put that into EFB so that we don't forget which gate we're going to be using, and then we can go ahead and have a look at the replay from Chaseplane. That's one of the main things I love about Chaseplane now, being able to do amazing replays that hopefully don't bug out all the time. So anyway, let's go ahead and check this this replay out from a few angles. Okay, so, as you saw there, that was the replay. It was alright, I suppose. I suppose I did sort of okay. Seeing that from the gear view sort of put it into perspective, because I thought I was sort of a bit low with the nose. Like I could have lifted the nose up a little bit more, but at the same time we were floating, so I'll try not to. But the wheels did sort of touch the ground sort of smoothly, but again, you could say that in typical Ryanair fashion, we basically let the runway know that we'd landed. You know, everybody knew that we'd landed. If you will, but who cares? We are down. We managed. We're okay. So, Foxtrot 1 is the gate that we're going to be taxiing to. I'm not going to cut it, because I really want to see some of the scenery down here at Copenhagen. It's the first time I've actually landed at this scenery. Usually I don't do that. I usually test out the scenery first to make sure that it's all installed correctly. But on this occasion I thought, what the heck, let's just go for it. So, Foxtrot 1, what the hell am I doing? I need to go to gate F. Right, Foxtrot 1 is a medium gate. We don't need to follow me. We're just going to go with the default choice. Little lag spike there, I do apologise. Handling by aviator. Switch over the frequencies there just to get rid of the sort of dots on the PFD. Stop the clock, another thing I always forget to do. And again, welcome everybody to Copenhagen. Hope you enjoyed the flight. and we will hopefully be able to see some nice scenery. I'll clean up the MCP in a minute as well, because I've still got all the speeds and the heading, altitudes and everything still in there. I usually zero that, but we'll sort that out shortly. Not a major problem right now, but nevertheless. So while we're actually taxiing like this, again, I'll touch upon my next upgrade. I'm hoping to either purchase the Cytec sort of yoke and throttles, or I will go ahead and upgrade the GPU or CPU. I don't know which one to do. I don't really want to jump ahead and buy any more aircraft apart from the Aerosoft Airbus package. That will be the last aircraft I buy for a long time, because I've bought so much over the past several months. It's ridiculous. I've spent several £100 just on add-ons and stuff like that, so I don't really want to spend any more. I want to try and get my money's worth out of what I have bought first. And then obviously, you know, we've got plenty of opportunity now with the channel. We've got plenty of little bits and pieces that we can explore, and flights that we can do now that I've got the different aircraft, especially like the Boeing 737 expansion pack. And obviously we've got the Qualitywings 787 as well. We've got some new airports, we've got some new add-ons, some new scenery and stuff. So that'll be it. I do want to thank everybody that has been sending me donations lately. I have been getting a few people sending me donations. Even the smallest of donations helps. I never ask for them because, I mean, when it comes to Patreon, I always say if you want to support the channel, you can become a patron and stuff like that. But I never beg people for money. And for the people out there who have given me donations, I am eternally grateful. Because without you guys, again, all these new add-ons and stuff like that, they would not be possible. So thank you very much. But look at this scenery. Let's on a different note. Look at the scenery here. It's lovely, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Coming into again, this is the first time I've seen this. So after I finish the video, I will probably end up exploring a little bit further, like doing a little Mooney Bravo flight or something, like a light aircraft. But here we go. We are coming in to Foxtrot 1. I keep doing that with the throttle for some reason. Coming into Foxtrot 1 very shortly. It's just here on the left. I've got to say I love it. Look at the detail, like the level of detail in this airport. Lights off. Foxtrot 1, here we come. Aviator. That's an unusual one. Never heard of that one before. SAS aircraft over there. Just going to adjust the gear view a little, just so we can get a little bit higher in the air. And we'll take note of the GSX guy. Not perfect, but I really don't care. Parking brake set. APU power transferred. We can, of course, switch the engines off. What the hell's going on here? Right, we're going to revoke parking services and then we're going to request them again. For some reason it always happens. I don't know why GSX does that. In fact, it's probably me, because I didn't wait until the engines were fully cut off. But nevertheless, welcome everybody to Copenhagen. Hope you enjoyed this flight. This has been Ryanair 2674. Remember to subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one in the future. Become a patron if you want to see the UK and Ireland tour. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.